polyamorous love reading for a MMF. If you are here, let's get into it. So I feel like this dynamic is a little bit spicy because you definitely have someone who is as far as being like the divine feminine in the connection. I feel like you are someone who is very like mysterious in your connection, and it also allows you to feel a little bit reserved. I feel like you and maybe the male in this connection, one of the males in this connection, were already together or were previously kind of like linked before you met this second male. I feel like he is very attractive in a way, and I also feel like there's this energy of one of the males in the situation, like, even though he is, I'm not sure if he's interested in this other male or if it's just like he feels nervous about being in a connection with this other person. The dynamic is really giving like that both men are bisexual, but I almost, the way that the cards are sitting make it seem like maybe this is a V dynamic. If you could see, like, she's looking at him, he's not, he's kind of looking this way and he's looking at her. So it's kind of like, I feel like all of you must be involved together in some way, and I feel like there is a lot of sexual tension between you and the new, like, with between the divine feminine and the new male that's in this connection versus the other male that was primarily there before. Okay, I also feel like this 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 guy who has kind of been a more quiet, a more like, I feel like he's more of like a lover type. He gives the energy of just being able to like evolve in his emotions. He's understanding his own, I feel like he's coming into his own sexuality, his own emotions. He's coming into his own maturity at this time. Whereas the feminine in this connection is definitely coming to like reclaim her sexual power, sexual energy. Kundalini work at this time may be good for the divine feminine in this connection. I also feel like you are also in this energy of like feeling like a goddess, and being treated like a goddess, being treated like I feel like being treated like a lady, but it's almost like a feeling of being catered to, okay? And you very much like this catered energy. I heard like a delicate flower. I don't know what that's from, but it feels familiar to me. And then I have the journey to wholeness. Okay, there's boobies on here. So the journey to wholeness, I feel like this person is trying to find a connection that feels right for them, that feels whole. And I feel like maybe this person doesn't identify specifically with any specific gender. Maybe they're non-binary. Maybe their pronouns are they, them. Like, the energy that's coming off of this person is very sensual, but it's also very like a matter of fact. And so I feel like spirit is pretty much like coming and saying, what is it that you guys want to say about this connection? One of the biggest things that I'm feeling right off the bat is you need to be clear with your intentions about this connection. There's a lot that needs to be learned. Okay, wow. I feel like there's not enough being said about previous connections and what that means for some of you. So let's get into how this connection is unfolding. I feel like with grandchildren in the reverse, I feel like there isn't enough talk right now about what the future looks like. It almost like, I feel like everyone in this connection is seeing it for the now, living in the present. And there's not a lot of talk about the future. And that tends to bring a lot of insecurity into the relationship that needs to be a little bit better. And with the Father of Knives, there's a lot of pocket watches in this bowl here. And there's a knife. But it makes me feel like if you're going, I heard someone say, if you're gonna do it, then do it right. I feel that for some of you watching this, you may have like a hot wife type of connection, and I feel like if you're wanting something to be long term, then you have to talk about the long term aspects of the relationship as well. 10 of Sticks in reverse. This person has dealt with a lot of pain, and something they don't want to experience in this relationship is the 10 of Sticks. Now, when I shuffled this and it came out, it fell directly on this card and no other card. So I want you to understand that this person, they tend to take on a lot of responsibility in some of these connections because they want everyone to be happy. They want everyone to feel seen and heard and blah, blah, blah. But they also want to be felt seen, heard, and accepted because they are a little bit different. They are a little bit quirky to the norm. And even though maybe you and the other person identify a little bit more in, I don't want to call you heteronormal because it's not that, but it's like you identify in the same, in like the normal gender roles as you were born in your sex, right? So like you identify with the gender that is your natural born sex. So it's like what's really important right now is not to make sure you're not alienating this person, that you're making space for them to be who they are, and to also I feel like there's a sense of like there being circumstances where this person goes into environments that are your friends, your family, whatever, and you don't preemptively tell the people that you're with that they identify as they, them, or how they identify, how they prefer to be spoken to or spoken about. Do you know what I mean? So it makes it very awkward when they have to set the boundary when these are your people and you should have been the one to say those things to prepare the room for them. And it almost gives this feeling of like every time that they have to experience this, whether they experienced it in the past or they're experiencing it with you now, it makes them feel like they're choosing like the short sword over the long sword. But either way, they still getting cut. They still getting stabbed. It still hurt. Do you know what I'm saying? And they've been turning a blind eye to it. Every once in a while, they may complain about it, but it's not really giving, right? I also feel like a little bit like there are a lot of decisions being made without a full talking to of everyone. 8:08 on the clock. There's not enough communication between the three of you. It feels like maybe two of you make a decision, and it doesn't matter which two of you. Two of you may make a decision, and a third person is left out of the conversation, and because of that, it makes that third person always feel alienated. So then there's always one person triggered in the connection in any specific thing. Okay, then we have John Horse. I feel like in this connection there needs to be a little bit more fluidity. There needs to be a little bit more openness. There needs to be a lot more communication, and not trying to do things the normal way, because there is no normal in a poly relationship. It's what works for you, right? Now you have the 5 of baskets out here. So I feel like there's definitely a part of this connection either that was left out in the cold, someone feeling left out, not included, feeling like you don't care about them, or maybe this has happened in the past where you maybe tried this before with someone else or with this person and now you're trying to try it again. But this is a mainstay that don't take apart the things that are built well. Take apart the things that aren't built well so that you can build them better. Things can get better, but you do need to try to educate yourself more on this. And I also feel like having more communication about finances and what you plan to use your tools for, your communication, etc. I got a little bit more for you, so come back for part 2. And by the way, I'll never reach out to you in DM, but if you want to get with me, you can go to my link in bio at thealchemicaloracle.com.